Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, September 24th of 2024, 3:09 in the p.m. Let's say it together. Praise our God, from whom our blessings flow. So I was trying to organize some paperwork, some historical paperwork, that is, in relation to some writings that I did. I have so many writings from back in the day. And believe it or not, I'm trying to characterize or catalog them, if you will. And this particular one I came upon, I was like, Pearson, you know what? This article is 44 years old. It's 44 years and 8 months old. It's titled The Presidential Race. And when I tell you, it just stared at me. It stared at me. Here, February 1st, 1980. Christian Citizen, one of the newspapers I worked for back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, presidential race. And then I got to thinking about what I thought about this morning when I woke up. I'm like, Pearson, you know what? Ask your followers, ask them, what do they think is going on in the Middle East? That is the timing of it. You see, people, because we got a presidential race, right? It's down to two, Kamala Harris, and of course, former President Trump. And we think that we know where they stand, right? I mean, they've had the debate, they say what they had to say, but yet, I've been doing quite a number of videos on it, and I had to reflect, like, Pearson, there's a rhythm going on that needs to be talked about. And I would argue that ever since Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu came to the White House, and I got to go there. He came to the White House and he went to Congress first, and guess what? Neither the president or the vice president met him there. Joe was sick, and Kamala went to let's just say she went to see her sorority sisters. And I did a video on it. But now, as I'm looking at it since that period, is it just me, but have things ramped up? I would say, yeah. I mean, it's been out of hand. I covered the DNC about a month ago, right? It ended around this time last month. I was there 5 days. And, I covered the Palestinian protests. I followed the march. I was in the march, at least 2, maybe 3 times. And at the time, I think it was like 40,000 had been killed at that point. I don't know what the number is, but it's a large amount. And now we got a month later, it seems like this thing has just gotten so far. I mean, so what I'm getting at is, do you think that Netanyahu reacted possibly to either candidate? I mean, because I really did scold Kamala Harris for not meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. Traditionally, when the when the Israeli president comes to America, the president or vice president meets him. Well, only Congress did. He went straight to Congress by his lonesome. And like I said, Joe was sick, and then she met with him. And then, the order was what? Joe met him. Joe finally met with him, Biden. Then Kamala met with him. And then Netanyahu flew out to see Trump. Tell me what you think, because I'm gonna show you some videos. and then I'm gonna tell you what I think. Okay? Let's just hold that. Look at this thing here.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. It's been a devastating 24 hours in Lebanon. The death toll continues to rise. I just want to get your assessment on the current situation in the country.
Indeed, it has been a very, very, very difficult 24 hours. It's been a difficult week on Lebanon. Last week, or 4 or 5 days ago, we started with the pagers. We had thousands of people in hospitals. We had thousands of victims. We had thousands of people, moving from different parts of Lebanon into the city, into Mount Lebanon and different areas. So we are really living a true war. We've been talking about potentially an escalation. I think we are in the eye of the storm today. War is happening. As of yesterday, the death toll was over 500. Today, the numbers are still being, reassessed. I think if we continue...
The eye of the storm. This guy goes on to say that if it continues, it could be like 500. Like in a week, something like that, he said. But why is it escalating? Is it escalating in relation to, we've got what, 41, 42 days left before the election? I mean, this is getting serious. Maybe it's 40, I don't know, but it's close. Check this out.
Do have some breaking news out of the Middle East. You're taking a live look at Haifa in Israel. We've learned that the United States is sending additional troops to the Middle East in response to a sharp spike in violence between Israel and Hezbollah forces in Lebanon that has raised the risk of a greater regional war. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder did not provide any additional details on how many additional forces or what their directives are. The U.S. currently has about 40,000 troops in the region. And this is a statement from the Pentagon, quote, in light of increased tension in the Middle East and out of an abundance of caution, we are sending a small number of additional U.S. military personnel forward to augment our forces that are already in the region. But for operational security reasons, I'm not going to comment on or provide specifics. So
they are, and we are, in the eye of the storm. To say it's ramping up is an understatement. Hundreds of lives. It appears weekly. It's almost become a norm. But again, why this ramping up? Is it ramping up? I want you to hear, this just came out 3 hours ago. We cannot show any violence. Here's a correspondent. I want you to hear what he's got to say. This just came out.
So Israel and Hezbollah again trading fire today as we are learning devastating new numbers from Lebanon's health ministry. At least 558 people were killed and over 1,800 others injured as a result of yesterday's airstrikes in Lebanon. And they're continuing this morning, not only in southern Lebanon, but northeast of Beirut in the Bekaa Valley. Meanwhile, Hezbollah continues firing on Israel with 55 additional rockets being fired this morning, leading many in northern Israel to wake up to this.
Now, we're going to listen to Trump. I did a video on this about a month ago, and then I'm going to take you back to the debate, because many times you got to move backwards to move forward. I want you to hear what Trump has got to say in relation to his meeting with President Netanyahu. And then I want you to hear what they said at the debate. That is Kamala and Trump.
Once that happens, it'll never be able to come back, okay? If you'd like, we can ask a few questions.
It's been reported that you recently spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu, maybe as recently as yesterday. Can you clarify when the last time was you talked to him, and what advice, if any, you're giving him about a ceasefire, about ending this war?
The last time I saw him was at Mar-a-Lago, and he came with his wife and a large group of people. And we had a very good relationship with him and with Israel. Again, this would never have happened. October 7th would have never happened, would have never ever happened. And he asked for the meeting. We had the meeting. It was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours long. And I expect I might be talking to him, but I haven't since then.
Encourage him not to take a ceasefire deal? Did you give him any advice
No, I
about
didn't
ending the war?
encourage him. He knows what he's doing. I did encourage him to get this over with. You want to get it over with. It has to get over with fast. But have victory, get your victory, and get it over with. It has to stop. The killing has to stop.
Did you hear that? This is the thought I came up with this morning. Pop right up, hit the floor, talk to the Lord, and this same thing hit me. Then I start organizing some stuff, and my mind went in retrospect. Listen what he said.
Advice
No, I
about
didn't
ending the war?
encourage him. No, he knows what he's doing. I did encourage him to get this over with. You want to get it over with. It has to get over with fast. But have victory, get your victory, and get it over. People, look.
Ending the war?
Encourage him. No, he knows what he's doing. I did encourage him to get this over with. You want to get it over with. It has to get over with fast. But have victory, get your victory, and get it over with. It has to stop. The killing has to stop. Yes, please, Dion.
President.
Why did Trump tell him that? Was Trump like, hey, I'm going to win this thing, and November 4th, guess what? I'll end it for you, because we about to have peace? Or is Trump like, look, in case, I don't make it, these folks that's in there now, they ain't got your back. Pearson, you putting words in his mouth. No, I'm not. Because I'm going to let you listen to what he said at the debate. He specifically said that Kamala Harris, instead of meeting with Netanyahu, she went and spent time with her sorority sisters. Now this time right here, what you looking at this man right now, he already knew that Biden nor Kamala met with him, that is Netanyahu, when he got off the plane. He went straight to Congress, and both of them was missing in action the first time in American history. So Trump's giving him advice after that situation. Look, do what you got to do, get it over with, get your victory, and get over it. You heard what he said. Now listen to this debate.
About Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror, and they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no.
Now what do you think? We talking about a presidential race. Total different people now. A whole different time. February 1st, 1980. 24 years. 44 years. 44 years ago. A different time. And this man is saying, get it over with. You're my ally. But I'm telling you now, get it over with. Get your victory and get it done fast. What do you think? Do you really think that Israel has ramped this thing up in relation to the election that's coming up? And in relation to this man getting into the White House? Or her getting into the White House? Man, I tell you, sometimes your morning thoughts, they can just bloom. This is crazy. And in this video, I almost forgot. Thank God I didn't forget. You know what he said? Trump said when he gets up in there, he's going to end this thing in the Middle East. Not January 20th of 2025. He says as president-elect, he's going to go in there and get this thing taken care of. You got to watch this video. It's called, it's WRAL. I'll put it in the link. Top number 5 is Israeli-Hamas war. He said it. In other words, November 5th, I'm going to take care of it as president-elect. People, I think I stumbled upon something. I really want to have your comments on this. Share the video if you think it's worth it. Please subscribe. I'm just shaking my head. We got to pray for peace. Like I said, I was at the DNC. I was at the rallies. This is too much going on, people. At the expense, they've been fighting since biblical days. Because Kamala did not meet with Netanyahu, you know, this man might have been like, you know what? I got to take matters into my own hands. Just keep giving me my support. I got to do what I got to do, and I got to do it quick. Or he might have said, look, I'm going to take Trump's advice. Go get your victory. Get it done. And if you watch what's really going on, Trump hasn't changed his tune. He keeps saying he's going to stop this thing in the Middle East. Tell me what you think, people. What a world we live in. 44 years ago, I wrote about a presidential race. And just coincidence, Jimmy Carter was president at the time, right? 1976, he was president. And after that, he was gone. 4 years, I forgot. Jimmy Carter spent in the White House. And then they got he spent 4 years in there. And the hostages got out the day of the, inauguration, when Ronald Reagan got up in there. Y'all remember that history? So it's brief. And yeah, this thing could affect, we can see the hostages being released, possibly. Because this man, he get up in there, you would think that'd be the next step. Because she stay up in there. Look, let's just keep it real. It might be prolonged, people. It very well might be prolonged. And you know good and well, I'm going to keep it real. This is above her pay grade. It's above her pay grade. When you listen to either one of them talk about the Middle East, who sounds more presidential in handling that type of business? Come on, baby. Hands down. Mr. Trump. I'm out of here, people. Like I said, you got to act like Moses, and you got to push the lesser of the two evils. We got to endure. We are push button away from you know what. We got to endure, baby. We got to endure. For God so loved the world, who gave his only begotten Son, that whomsoever believe in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. We can have it because he died. The question is, do you believe? Well, you want to take your free will and go back to that which created you? His name is Jesus. It's the right thing to do. God bless you and family.